Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this November 12th version of AM Live on EOA. Your connection to Eastern Oregon, and all of our content is available at EOA.network. That takes you to a link tree where you can find all of the locations of our stuff. There also is a place where if you want to support us, there's an opportunity for you to help us with your donation there also to help the content that you get for free continue to be produced. Here in just a little bit, we are going to have Cat Dooley talk to us about LeGrand Main Street's program called Women in Business.
Yeah. You can scan that QR code that was on the screen too. You can back it up and scan it. There you go. Yeah, that'll just take you right there.
Yep.
If you're sitting on Roku or at a TV, all you got to do is just point your camera at that and boom. It'll take you right to there, and it has all the stuff listed: Roku, Facebook, Instagram, the Ko-fi, which is the place where you can go and donate. Everything that we produce is on pretty much all those platforms.
Yeah.
I think it's got our Spotify on there too. Did you guys know that you can listen to this show on Spotify as well, and watch it? I mean, it's a podcast as well. So, yeah.
Yep.
A lot of stuff.
You know, and as often as we say it, I don't think people understand, because somebody complained yesterday during the parade about some commercials about the sponsors.
Yeah.
And people still just don't understand that we can't do those kind of events without sponsors.
I mean, this is free for you.
Yeah.
And the way we pay for it is sponsors pay us, and then you go to them by listening to us talk about them and spend your money with them.
Yeah. So yesterday for us to do the parade, it was a crew of 3. Yeah. And it was probably about an hour and a half by the time we set up and did the parade and tore down. And so, added up, crew of 3, paying the expenses of those folks. So anyhow.
Yep.
Yeah. How are you this morning?
Good. It's second Monday.
Second Monday,
yeah.
Did you hear the weather's changing? It's going to come, snow is coming, cold is coming.
We got one more weekend of football before that happens.
Yeah.
I hope. Hopefully. The parade yesterday was cool. There's the video of the parade's on all of our stuff, and there's also some pictures from yesterday too. So if you want to check that out, it's on the EOA network. You can either go to Facebook or Instagram and watch the video. I don't think we put the parade on Instagram.
No.
We could though. We could start doing that. We could start going.
We could,
yeah. I don't know.
But you did a little video. Did you do a little thing?
Pictures. I put some pictures on Instagram yesterday of the parade. I always just do like the main bunch of pictures on Facebook, because you can only post 10 on Instagram at a time. So then I just sometimes I pick my favorite, and sometimes I'm lazy and just pick randomly.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like sports, I pick my favorite 10 and put them on Instagram. But yesterday, I just picked. I like the one of the guy that the header picture on Instagram is one of the vets, like right in the middle, just looking at the camera. I don't even think he knew that I was I don't think, but he was looking right at me, and it made for a really good picture. So I made that the header picture on.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people downtown yesterday.
Yeah.
Like almost as many that come out for like Halloween. There was a lot. I was surprised. Part of that is no school. There was no school yesterday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good turnout, and the weather wasn't horrible.
Right.
Because usually this parade is wet. Mm-hmm. If I remember right. Not fun. No. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Transform your living space with the Z-Cliner from FlexSteel, where power meets comfort and style. Explore the unique features of the Z-Cliner and enhance your relaxation at Northwest Furniture and Mattress. LHS football lost their first round playoff game on Friday night to Philomath 39-27. That means their season is over with. And they surprised me a little bit this year. I'm not going to lie. I mean, granted, Baker ended up having some injuries, but LeGrand ended up third in the GOL, which is where I picked them. But they played better than I thought they were going to, and I have to give them credit for that. A very young team, 6 seniors, three of them played regularly, so you're talking. That's a huge difference between this year and previous years. I think the least amount of seniors in years since I've been covering LHS football was 19 before this year, and we only had 6. So you know what that means. Next year, there's going to be a lot of seniors because there was a lot of juniors. So this year's kind of a year where head coach Dalton Sheets can look at it and be like, man, this is a good building year. Like we have a lot to look forward to with this young group of kids. You have Savon Chaub coming back at running back. You have Landon Hood coming back, who's arguably, I would say, probably the best athlete on that team. And Fields coming back at quarterback. There's just a lot of young guys. Hibbert on the line. And they have a lot to look forward to next year. I think they're going to have a pretty good year. LHS girls soccer had a huge game on Saturday versus Astoria. The girls ended up winning 2-0 over. It was a great game. There was a lot of energy, a lot of people there. It was the quarterfinals for the state playoffs, and as you can see, here's some pictures for the game. I've been trying to get to these playoff games for soccer. There's a game today, actually, 5 o'clock. Semifinal game for these same girls up at Community Stadium against North Marion. If they win this, they're in the state championship game. So get up there and support these girls. 5 o'clock today. LeGrand Harriers, CC Villa Gomez and Brooke Perry had another huge year for LHS girls cross country. Villa Gomez, who's a former state champion, finished 3rd, while Brooke Perry, who has finished 3rd and 2nd, won the state championship this year, and she's only a junior, so she has one more year to try to repeat, win another state championship. It's crazy. This girls cross-country team for LeGrand has had the state champion the last 3 out of 4 years, and they've had 2 girls in the top 3 in those same 3 out of the 4 years. They've been tough, really tough. Congratulations to the Union volleyball team on their 2nd place finish at the LSAA state championships, and the Union Cove cross country team on their 3rd place finish at the 3A, 2A, 1A OSAA state championships. EOU men's basketball won 2 games in Montana over the weekend, knocking off Carroll College and MSU Northern, while the women split in Caldwell, losing to Rocky and beating Hope International. EOU football had a rough weekend in Ashland, losing 49-21 to the Raiders. They have senior day this Saturday versus Montana Western at Community Stadium at 1 p.m. The Mounties played the Raiders on Saturday, and they lost. The running back for the Raiders is a East-West Shrine Game alum, and man, wow. How many yards did he have? He had, I'm trying to think, 264 yards and 3 touchdowns against. He had like 228 yards in the first half. Gunnar Yates, he 2 years ago, so he's a sophomore. So 3 years ago in the East-West Shrine Game, he's from Coquille High School, and he ran for like 224 in the first half. He was the Frontier Conference Player of the Week this week, and he's an East-West Shrine alum. EOU volleyball won the CCC via a tiebreaker after a 3-way tie with Southern and Corbin, and that means they get to host the CCC tournament this weekend. And the way they do the tiebreaker is like a sets won versus sets lost percentage. It's crazy because EOU beat Corbin twice, who was the other team they tied with, and lost to Southern twice, who's the other team they tied with. And all 3 of those teams, and Corbin beat Southern twice, so they all ended up with 2 losses between the 3 of them. And then C of I beat each one of them 1 time. So all 3 of them ended up with 3 losses, and EOU ends up on top with the tiebreaker. I'll have game times and more info on the tourney this weekend on Thursday. It starts Friday. It runs all day Friday, and it's a 6-team tournament. The top 2 teams get byes, I believe, so the other 4 play, and then I'll have more information for you about it on Thursday. EOU men's and women's soccer both won their quarterfinal games in the CCC tournament. On Sunday, the women play OIT today at 1 p.m. in the semis, while the men play Warner Pack tonight at 7 in the semis. If you pay attention to the Instagram story, I'll get links up to watch those games live on YouTube before they start. And all you have to do on those is just click right on the link and it'll take you to the YouTube page. They're free to watch. Thanks to Table Rock Sports down there in Medford. They put them up on YouTube. It's cool. I think the CCC needs to figure out how to do more of this. Let people watch these games for free. Both the EOU men's and women's cross country team qualified for nationals via at-large bids. Our very own Benny Welch got some great photos on Saturday at the CCC Championship. The men got second place in this race with Justin Ash finishing second overall, and the women finished fourth. That picture right there is one of my favorites right there of the hands, and I always turn my favorite pictures black and white. So Benny took these pictures and then I edited them and got them posted. EOU athletes got a ton of awards on Monday. First off, we'll start with all conference and men's soccer ball honorable mention, Jesus Alvarez, Chewy. Go ahead, Gabe. Yeah, keep them coming. Daniel Croft got second team all conference. Renee Prieto got second team all conference. Jacob Russell got honorable mention all conference at defender. And then basketball-wise, player of the week for men's and women's basketball for EOU, TJ Doman, who just was on the show, got player of the week defensive. And then Kelsey Siegner, who was a double-double machine last week for EOU women's basketball, got player of the week offensive. Women's soccer, honorable mention all conference, Karina DeYoung, defender. She's solid. She played so good in that playoff game. Second team all conference, Megan Gustafson, who's also been on the show. Gracie Hoover, who's a senior midfielder, had a great year, second team all conference. And then Brooke Snyder, who's also been on the show, honorable mention all conference striker for this EOU women's team. And then in cross country, all the people that finished in the top 15 get all conference. Justin Ash finished second. He's all conference. Grady Greenwood was the surprise for the EOU men's cross country team, coming in, I think, 14th and getting an all conference award. And then our very own LeGrand High School graduate, Christian Mendoza. And then the lone woman who to become all conference for the women's team, Maddie Woodbury. Man, that's a lot. Don't forget, LHS girls take on North Marion tonight at 5 p.m. at Community Stadium, so get up there and support them in their bid to win a state championship. AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm, off Adams in LeGrand.
All right. Whew. You're right. That was a load.
Yeah. There's just a lot going on. And the crazy thing is there was nothing except for one LHS girls soccer game at home this weekend. Yeah. That's it.
Wow.
And they put out all the awards. I feel bad for the EOU Sports Information Department on the
stuff.
Oh man, they have to get all those graphics out on Monday, and they're just churning them out. I know they're coming because I already got the emails from the conference.
Right.
So it's like, oh, they're over there making them right now. And then ding, one will pop out, next group will pop out, and then I'm sharing them, downloading them. You know what I mean? Getting them ready for this show. Yeah.
Yep. And Gabe, good job.
Yeah, great job
managing all that media.
Right? So here's a little insight as to one of the other things that I do as my job is pay attention to that stuff. You know what I mean? Because that doesn't automatically come, like those pictures, like I have to nobody's sending me those. I find all that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or take them.
Yeah.
And then kind of as it goes, it makes it a little easier with social media because I can see when they come out and I share them all. You know what I mean? I put them on my story, put them on our story. But there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
Well, yeah. And for people, it'd be kind of interesting. And then for people don't know, so then you get here at about 6 a.m.
And
you start writing this stuff out.
Actually, I started this one last night.
Yeah. And then all of those pictures go in order into a specific folder.
Yep.
And so then when Gabe gets here at about 7, then you guys are rehearsing that and putting that together. All that content has to be pulled into the computer. And
it's the only part of the show that's scripted, and the only reason why is so we can stay in cahoots
Yeah.
with when the pictures are. Because
Well-
the way we used to do it is I would put those up myself.
Yeah.
I would sit here and put them up
Yeah.
myself, but it's much nicer to have somebody else.
Well,
do it.
and I worked in a broadcast TV station for a bit, and the sports is always
in
the
the
most
butt?
challenge.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
always the most challenging because there's such a variety. Weather, is super graphic oriented,
but it's always the same thing, right?
well, and the weather dude normally has control of his own graphics.
That's true.
So anyhow,
Yeah.
anyhow,
Yep. Good job.
little
today, Gabe.
behind the scene.
Yep.
All right, well, hey, let's look outside real quick and see. So I can't tell. Is it raining
It's wet.
yet? Is
yeah,
it wet?
It looks wet to me.
Yeah. And
Ugh.
yeah, this is our downtown weather cam. And folks have the opportunity to have advertising on that. It's 24/7. It's so funny because we have, there's a lot more. I mean, there's a lot of people that watch this. And I mean, were you here the other day when a guy walks in the door and he's probably, I don't know, in his 80s.
Yeah, I
late
remember.
70s,
Yep.
yeah. And I thought he was here looking for Spectrum.
Like
yeah.
everybody else.
And he's like, no, I came to talk to you guys because I can't find your weather cam and I live out of town. I used to be here in La Grande and I watch it all the time. And anyhow, it was affirming. I told him, it's like, thank you for.
Well, it streams on YouTube now, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's 24/7.
Well, it's on YouTube and then it's embedded in our webpage, but it just takes a while. YouTube changes their, YouTube does not have a persistent iframe. And so then every time it changes, we've got to go get the new iframe and
relog
update
it.
our webpage. And yeah, it's a
It
pain
used
in
to
the
be.
neck.
I mean, it is for somebody who enjoys the weather. It's wonderful. It used to be more entertaining when there was more people in Max Square.
Yeah.
Because it spends 20 seconds right on Max
Yeah.
Square every what minute? Is there 6 positions or 5?
I
think it's like 20.
I don't know.
So you can see exactly when they had the mattress and the dining room table and the chairs. It looked like somebody's living room.
Somebody's
at Max
kitchen,
Square.
yeah, somebody's living room down at Max Square.
Yeah, you could watch it for 20 seconds at a time. I used to pull it up every once in a while just to see what was going on out there.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people tune in just to see, hey, how's the weather in La Grande? So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. All right. Well, hey. Oh, yes. And the graphic. Thank you. So 46 today is the high. Looks like it's going to be 41, 46 going forward in the days. Yeah. So it's going to, I mean, we're starting into it. And so rain and showers, snow showers maybe on Monday.
Sunday, possibly. Sunday as well.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yep.
78% chance of rain.
Wow.
And 59% chance of rain today.
Yeah, and I think I saw pictures yesterday. There's snow on Mount Emily, and it's just coming. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, we're pleased to have Cat Dooley with us. She will be with us right after this.
Here in Eastern Oregon, we're blessed to live in such a wonderful area. And though it may seem mild-mannered, there's actually quite a lot that goes on in this area. And apparently, there's 2 dinguses who happen to be here that are actually crazy enough to get up at the crack of dawn to talk about it. Tune into AM Live on EOA with Brent and Dodsey, featuring special guests, weather, sports, news, and more, every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m., only on EOA Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku.
Okay. All right, we're back with Cat Dooley. How are you, Cat? It's been a while.
It has.
Yeah.
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, and we have connected. We got to know each other. You used to work for the Observer years ago, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's where that's when we first met. And so, yeah. So here, pull your mic out just to make sure. Is it like, yeah, okay. Is that better, Gabe? We'll find out. So anyhow, sorry. And then we connected on LeGrand Main Street. You were on one of their boards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
In fact, we were on the board together back then, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we were.
So, yeah. So you have, and the reason you're here today is because you are a part of LeGrand Main Street started Women in Business. Now, is that like a subcommittee or an event, or I didn't know quite sure how to title that.
Sure. So it's a subcommittee of the promotions committee. We actually get a grant every year from the Seroptimist, which is our local Seroptimist group here in LeGrand.
Okay, I tell you what, hang on just a sec. We're going to go to a commercial, but we're just having a little trouble with
Fix your mic.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Hey, thank you for that. Sorry about that. And glad that you're here. And so now, chow your mic, make sure we got it. Glad you're here. Are you good to be here?
I am happy to be here. Excited to be here.
All right.
Mic'd up.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, the mic ended up getting disconnected and it was on the floor, so they could just barely hear you. So, all right. So talk to me about Women in Business and how that got started and what that is.
Yeah, so I came into it on about our fourth event. So we do 4 events a year. Our old executive director, Monica, had originally started the committee. And then I took over that committee. We have a committee of 4 ladies that are on there right now. Katie Martin with Katie Martin Designs. We have Raina, who used to own About Time Boutique. She is now going to college full-time and has her family and has a full-time job. Not quite sure how she does all of that. And then we have Chelsea with Teal Cactus Jewelry and Design. So this committee of women, we all get together. And basically, we just look for great networking opportunities. And what we try to do is we do an event, normally about a 3-hour event, and we really focus on different areas for our networking. And so for us, it's important, like our next one we have coming up as for the holidays, which is always our funnest one. We do a gift exchange. We partner up with local restaurants around the area. And so the LeGrand Seroptimist has given us a grant to be able to provide these. So the women that want to attend the events are able to pay a very small fee to get in. They get dinner, networking opportunities, and most often a lot more entertainment than they probably bargained for. But we have a really great time, and it's just such an amazing committee to be a part of to really help promote our women that are in their community.
Okay, and so let me back up, and I'm sorry for a very guy question, and that is, okay, it's like, because I remember, so why is it needed? Because when I look at the mix of businesses in LeGrand, many of them are women owned. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Yeah, you know what I mean? You get where I'm
Absolutely.
going. It's like,
I
okay,
get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'll answer that question, then I'll kind of follow up. Yeah.
Sure. So, women, we always tend to network a little bit differently than men.
Okay.
And so for us to be able to have a place where we feel very comfortable, like we're not competing against anything or we're not trying to prove anything. We run on different emotions than men. We have a whole different variety of things. And so for us to be able to get together with just women that understand all of the challenges that we have, kids, husbands, dogs, just life in general. And then
Right.
our business is on top of that.
Right.
Or if you don't have a business, just the family life is super crazy. And so a lot of times, because men and women think so totally differently, it's nice to just feel like women are a lot more relaxed when they're not feeling like, oh my gosh, I've got a guy over my shoulder, or maybe I have something to prove to somebody because in the industry or, that they're in, maybe it's like one of my industries is extremely male forward. And, there's times I have to fight against that. And so being able to have just an area where women with that softer touch and just kind of understanding, you're a lot more at ease and a lot more comfortable being able to do that. And so for this committee is just really allowing women to celebrate who we really are and celebrate our businesses, celebrate us as women in our communities and the struggles that we deal with. We talk about all different aspects, whether it's making lunches for the kids or making sure the dogs go out or the dogs get fed, to, making sure that we have everything running in our business the way we need it to run. And so a lot of times it's super important. And so that's why we enjoy our time away from our families. We need that time away.
Yeah. So you put your yeah, there you go.
Me and the mic.
You and the mic there, yeah. No, you're good. You just had your arm under it, and so it was pulling on a little. So then the challenges that women face in business are different. The pressures are a little different than men. I mean, so you said which is super interesting. One of the industries that you do is very what do you call it? Male facing or what?
Male focused, yes.
Male focused. Yeah, I mean, explain that a little bit because, and the reason I'm asking these questions is because men just don't know. I mean, I will say generally, some of this stuff we're just oblivious to, and so it helps us understand.
Sure. So, and of course, these are just what I've experienced
Right,
in my my opinion.
So, right.
not speaking for every woman that's out there, but in the transportation industry, which is 2 of my businesses are in transportation, where they're courier focused. So, really, we've made a lot of strides with women in that business. But when I very first started working with Rob Speedy Delivery, I actually had somebody call and say, I want to talk to the man in charge. And I literally said, you're talking to him. Yeah. And, just getting to, there's a lot of focuses and, being able for a female to be a leader in an industry that isn't really female focused or female leading, we're becoming more and more that way. And it's not that I'm saying it's all about women by any means, but I feel like it's important that we have our place in our businesses. We know what we're doing. We've either gone to college, we've done, life of hard knocks. We've worked our way up into a position that we have. And so sometimes we actually have to command that respect. And in order to do that, we have to be very knowledgeable in what we do. And sometimes working and networking with other women help us say, hey, I'm having this challenge with so-and-so or with a way to respond to this. What do you think? Without having any male influence is helpful to us to be able to work together and really support each other. And, not to say that men don't have their place, because absolutely they do. I could not do 90% of what I do without my husband's support. So I'm very grateful for that. But I also need that support from my lady friends and my lady business owners and just people that are like my cheerleaders, behind me going, yes, you can do it, you can do it. And, there's times in industries that, transportation's a really, I guess, a good point for that, is you just don't see a ton of women in that industry. Right. And so just being able to have those networks is super important.
Yeah. No, and I guess for me, I see that. I see the value of women being involved in different aspects of my life. I mean, I have a great appreciation for my wife and what it is she does, but I value when she's involved in the business. I mean, I value, and she's half. I mean, we're partnership. I mean, it's an LLC organized that way, and so, but her input is super valuable. It brings another perspective. And so I mean, I value women and their input into boards. I mean, we spent quite a bit of time before the show talking about boards and the LeGrand Main Street board and the impact of that. So then I'm sometimes when there's women forward organizations, for lack of a better term, I don't see the need, because I already have in me, I see the value already. But I can certainly understand where that's not the case in some. I mean, I have a friend who has a roofing business, and his main dispatcher is a woman, and sure, I mean, and it takes some time if she's calling a contractor and so on and so forth and trying to get them. I mean, there takes a certain amount of persuasion for them to be convinced that, hey, she's the boss and they're accountable, and if they want the job, they better talk to her. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what kind of activities do you do? So then it sounds like the value in the ladies getting together is that you get to hang around with each other. Is that right?
That's exactly it. So we kind of get to leave everything at the door, or great weeks, crummy weeks, whatever you name it. We just get to network. So we generally will do an icebreaker just so we get to know each other. We always tend to have new ladies come. So people that we don't already know. We have a lot of ladies that we do already know that come every month or every quarter. They look super forward to these events and they're awesome. And then we have new people that are like, hey, we want to find out what you guys are doing. We want to check out everything that's going on. So just those really great networking opportunities. And, I think the value of networking, and one of the things that I found within my own companies, is not looking at other businesses necessarily as the competition, but how can you guys work together? So like, we're in a really small community. And so one of my businesses, we do t-shirts and clothing and that sort of thing. We already have some really established businesses here in town. One of the machines that I offer can actually offer them a great solution to make it faster, easier, and they're not having to do a lot of the manual labor that they have to normally do. So we've partnered. I give them a wholesale rate. I make some money. They make some money. In all aspects of life, they would be competition. And we've been able to really become where we work together. So, and that's important. And these events really focus on how do you collaborate with folks in small communities, and how do you better each other's businesses, whether you're in the same industry or you're in a different industry. And so just having those opportunities to really network is the key. And figuring out ways to work together is just vital. And that's what these events do.
So give me an example of some of the things, some of the events that you have been doing.
So, we do 4 a year as far as the Women in Business Committee itself. And so our up and coming one is going to be our holiday one. So this one's always our funnest one. We're doing it at the Barrel Room over in Island City. Island City Market and Deli is catering it for us. So we have a great meal. We'll do a really fun mixer, and then we're going to do a gift exchange. So that one's just a lot of fun. And then, we've had our past one we just had in October was over at Springs Bakery, and she made the most incredible soup and sandwiches for us. It was awesome. And then all we did was talk. Each lady in the group went, and they had about 5 minutes to talk about their business. Some of us talked longer than others, but because a lot of times we just don't know, and you want to network with everybody, but sometimes you just don't get that opportunity. So everybody went around the group and talked about the what their business did, who they were, especially upcoming for the holidays. Super important. Like, we want people to support our local businesses, and we want them to know what we offer. And so that was really, really valuable to a lot of our members. The event prior to that was a networking event, and we focused on media and the importance of making sure you had a logo, making sure you understood how to promote your business and that sort of thing. So just a lot of, tips and tricks. So most likely our first quarter of next year, we'll focus on kind of financials. We'll probably bring in a financial specialist and have them talk to the group about, planning for this upcoming year and making sure that, they've got all their stuff for their taxes. A lot of these women that do attend we have all different sizes of companies. So we have your homemakers that have great, crafting events and things that they do. And then we have, CEOs and business leaders and educators. So we kind of have a really great mix. And it's just important to kind of focus on those different things that we all struggle with and need help with in our businesses.
And talk to me about that. You're trying to reach all women, not necessarily if they own a business. I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I feel like, we're all each other's customers and we're all each other's support system. So we need cheerleaders whether they own a business or they don't own a business. And I think that's a lot of misperceptions that we've had within in the committee, and we've talked about it multiple times. We're not looking for only women that own businesses. I know it's called Women in Business, but if you shop at a business, you're a woman in business, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you're part of that community, it's important. We want to hear from every aspect, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, which is super vital to our youth and our young kids. That's a full-time job and a half. I don't know how moms do it, honestly. I have dogs, and that's more than enough for me. But it's just important that we have all perspectives, because then that helps every one of us grow and become stronger, and we can be cheerleaders for each other.
Right.
And that's super important. So any lady that's out in the community that wants to just come and network and get to know some really great folks, that is what this is for.
That's awesome. So let's back up just a little bit, because I want to talk about your story a little bit, because you have I guess we've probably known each other for 10 years.
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
A little bit longer, but yeah.
Yeah. But our business is going to be 15 years old this year. And so yeah, it has been longer than that. But you've migrated from being an employee to a business owner. Mm-hmm. And talk about that journey a little bit, and maybe some of the perspectives that have changed over the years. Yeah.
So it's been really interesting. So in 2011, I actually transferred here with the newspaper industry. I had done that for several years in Colorado and Northern California, and transferred up here with the Observer. And I was brought in when they decided to take the paper from 5 days down to 3. I moved here from California. I had a little dog with pink hair, and I had a little green Kia Soul, and I was weird. I was taking their paper from 5 to 3 days. So I learned that I was the probably least popular person in the community at the time. And what I found is I had to throw myself into the community. So I volunteered with the Chamber. I volunteered with La Grande Main Street, both two organizations I'm super passionate about, small business downtown. Fast forward a little bit, my neighbor had a courier company, and I saw where he had some needs and some different things. He was just kind of up and coming. And I said, you know what, if you'll hire me, this is what I'm going to do. Fast forward, he ended up hiring me. We ended up getting married. We have a business together, Rob Speedy Delivery. And really being able to focus on connecting our outlying communities into rural. So, we cover Portland, Boise, Tri-Cities every day. And we can bring stuff last minute here to our community. I then became an equity partner with a larger company out of Vancouver, Washington. I'm also the COO of that company. We're nationwide. So really being able to expand. And I think what's really come down to is my parents gave me one heck of a work ethic. And I've always been one, if the answer is no, that just means next opportunity. And I've had a lot of no's in my life, and I've had a lot of great success, but that's also become because I've had great cheerleaders and folks that have helped. Then moving into our car wrapping graphic design business, it was more one we just started out with a friend, kind of as a side thing, something we really loved. And, ended up, we bought all the machines to do it, found that we absolutely loved doing it. And so we've purchased multiple other machines, and we've expanded into shirts and anything we can do, hard surfaces, soft surfaces. We can pretty much hit the gamut on any marketing, or if you just want like a one-off t-shirt or something funny that you see, we're able to provide that too. So going from an employee standpoint to a business owner was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done. However, because you just don't know, oh, I don't have insurance now. I don't have this. I don't have that. I mean, you really, you have to take that step back and go, is this worth taking this leap of faith or is it not? A lot of prayers went up, believe you me. But just really trusting God and leaning on the faith that I have in God, and then being able to really, have those people behind me that were like, you know what, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And I'm glad I did. I mean, it's been there's scary moments and stressful moments, and there's really exciting moments. And I think for me, probably one of the most exciting things is just being so community focused and really being able to help the community, be part of the community. As a business owner, that is one thing I would highly recommend. Make yourself known, make sure you reach out to everybody you can to volunteer. I mean, and I know it's a hit personally. There's times it's like, I don't want to be at a meeting at 8:00 at night or 7:00 at night, but you're never going to, I didn't say never, but your chances of growing faster and making those connections. I always say relationships first, business second. I feel like if you build a relationship with individuals, then they will get to know what your business is, and then they'll come and talk to you. I am not more turned off by people that are all just business, business, business in your face all the time. Well, sometimes I just want to know who you are as a person.
Right,
What do you like, Brent? What do you guys enjoy? Where are you at? And so I've learned that building relationships is number one, and then the business will follow.
Yeah. Good. Awesome. So what do you say to people is like, I want to be my own boss and start a business?
Are you willing to give up every aspect of your personal life for the next 5 to 10 years? Are you willing to take a call at 2 a.m.? Are you willing to, when an employee doesn't show up or a customer calls you last minute and says, hey, I totally dropped the ball and I have to have this in 2 hours? Are you able to make the impossible happen?
Right.
And if the answer to any of those is no, I would really rethink starting a business.
Right. I tell people, like, when they say, I want to be my own boss, it's like, I don't think you understand. You're going from one boss to everybody being your boss, everybody, every customer. I mean, if your business is customer centered, then you've got a lot more people to please.
Absolutely. And you just have to be willing, like I said, to do the impossible. I mean, there's times that's in all of any of the businesses we have, a lot of those last minutes fall into place, and it's like, and that's where I get more repeat customers, because there's ways that we can just make it happen. And that means a personal sacrifice from myself or my husband or both of us. I mean, it's not, and I hear the saying every now and then, an emergency on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on mine. And I think that's one of the worst business sayings ever. And I understand where people come from on that, but I live for those emergency situations. Let me be your rock star. Let me see you through what feels like an impossibility to you, because the customer is going to remember that. And when you're in a business that's constantly competing, or you're trying, first off, you're going to build that relationship even stronger with somebody. And, but you have to be willing to, eat a cold dinner, drink a cold coffee. It's just, there's a lot of sacrifices that business owners, put out that do a lot, and a lot of times people just don't realize that. But when you can make that happen, the relationship with your client grows, and your ability to, they spread that word, and that just builds your business over and over and over. So if you're really looking to start a business, you've got to be able to figure out what that time investment is going to look like, and what you're willing to do. And, there may be a point you're not willing to do X, Y, and Z, but you've got to communicate. You've got to make sure your customer understands what your expectations are. And then, you just eat, breathe, and sleep it. There's days I joke, okay, honey, are we eating ramen noodles today? Or are we going to go for, Coast Steakhouse? What are we doing? But, if we don't have those valleys, we can't appreciate the mountaintops either. So, and you've got a lot of valleys and a lot of mountaintops when you're in business. Yeah.
Well, and a lot of our business is managing the expectations of our customers. If one of the big questions that we ask people, when they want us to create a video for them is the first thing I tell them is like, okay, well, if you go to an architect, if you go to a contractor and you say, will you build a house for us? The first thing the contractor says is, show me the floor plan. So it's we got to have a floor plan first. But then also one of the things is I ask them, we'll find a video on YouTube that you like the look of and send it to me, because then I can get an idea of what they're actually visualizing in their head. But it's really, I mean, they might only have $10,000 and they showed me a $100,000 video, right. And so helping them scale down to what is reality. I mean, that's a big part of what it is that we do all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what happened inside of you when you were an employee? I mean, did you come from a small business family, or what made you move this direction?
That's really funny. So absolutely not. My dad is a preacher.
Okay.
My mom was a stay-at-home mother. And both of them are very, very mild mannered individuals. Where my brother and I came from, I have no idea. I've always been extremely driven, though, in life. I mean, if I wanted something, that was one thing that parents always told us is, we'll put shoes on your feet and we'll put clothes on your back. But if you want anything other than Kmart or thrift store, you kids will have to work for it.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized the value of a pair of Nike shoes, and realized that wasn't something I wanted to spend my hard-earned money on. So I think I've always just been extremely driven for success. And, I liked the comfort zone of being an employee, but I always felt like I didn't want somebody else to control my destiny. So, work harder, do more, and do more. But I didn't really see any of the rewards from my hard-earned work. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. I know that I'm a smart cookie, and I know that if I make a mistake, I'll pay for the mistake myself, but I'm no risk, no reward. So I just decided that I was going to branch out and just take the leap. And worst comes to worst, I could always go, find another job if I had to. I mean, they're out there. If you're willing to work, they're able to do it. But if I didn't take the risk to at least attempt something, and then continue to really push myself and my teams. I've been fortunate enough to have amazing people on our teams that we would not be where we are today if we didn't have those individuals backing us up. Every employee that we have that works for us, we try to work side by side with them as much as we can. And they're incredible. Like, no business owner, no matter how much we want to say we're great, we're awesome, whatever, if we don't have the support of our team members, we wouldn't have a business.
So let's talk about your delivery business for just a minute, because it is a little unique, and you don't really have competition in that area, in this area. I mean, in that business. So, but it is extremely. I mean, we hear about the wars between Amazon and FedEx and the other brown one, I can't say, UPS, and USPS. Okay, so there's just this huge market, and everybody. Why that business? I mean, but still, if I want to get a package from here to Pendleton, there aren't many options. I mean, what kind of made you center in on that, which is a little interesting? So, I would say that I wouldn't ask this question if we had other competing agencies even in town, because that wouldn't be fair. But you guys are pretty unique. So. Yeah, so my husband really, he started just kind of doing like a DoorDash several years ago, and we just ended up morphing into, we really focus on the pharmaceutical world. So we work with closed door pharmacies based out of Portland and Boise, and we bring pharmaceuticals from West Side and from Boise to our nursing homes locally here. We've also been asked to do emergency lab runs. We have contractors that, because we're already in the area. So for you to put an employee in a vehicle, send them down to Boise and come back, it's a minimum 5 or 6 hours, right? Right. So, you're already out that employee cost, plus your fuel, plus your vehicle, plus you've got all the insurance costs. I mean, there's just a lot of costs if you think about it to put an employee down to go. So
it makes sense to give us a call and say, hey, can you throw in this 25-pound package? What's the rate? We give it a rate. We generally have that turned around. So if you called me at 10 o'clock last night and needed something out of Boise, I'd have it to you by noon today. And just being able to, really, that's what we focused on. And then the other aspect is our box truck. We have a couple of large trucking companies. They're like, we don't want to go over to Cabbage Hill, especially not in the winter. We don't want to do it in no dice. Because if they have a lot of different, we still are with the federal motor carrier and all of that, but because we run under 26,000 pounds, we don't have all of the exact same rules and regulations, and we return home the same day. So we come over the hill, we go back, come over the hill, go back. So if the road closes, I can either put the driver in a hotel or he can wait it out a little bit. Whereas if a semi driver and the road closes and they run out of hours, they're done. They're until the next day, and it just costs the company so much more. So finding that niche that they really needed to be able to get stuff over the hill, the larger freight and stuff, was a great opportunity for us. So we bought the truck. The driver came with the truck at that time, and it worked out great.
You own the driver?
So, well, I wish. Actually, the driver came with the truck. He stayed with us about 9 years, and he as he said when he retired and left, his butt had been in that truck for like 20 years total, because he worked for the prior company. And then we have a really great truck driver now. I mean, like I can't stress enough how amazing our teams are, and just how fortunate we are that they understand that we're not just delivering pizzas, we're delivering life-saving medication to patients, and we run 24/7. So we run day and night, which then opens up that opportunity for other folks to get something thrown in there, added on, to be able to get to their business in a very reasonable time frame and very reasonable cost. 99.9% of the time, it's a lot cheaper to have us take it than an employee.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever been asked to deliver?
I got asked to deliver a box of spiders and snakes, and I declined. I
Why?
said, absolutely not. I would
Why?
not do spiders and snakes. That is
Were you
not
the
up my
driver?
alley. That is just so
You just
far
didn't
out
want
of
it
my
in the
alley.
truck, or what? The driver didn't want it? Or?
No, I didn't want it. I didn't want to be
Okay,
responsible for snakes and spiders.
Let's go to this. What's the weirdest thing that you've accepted?
Oh boy. Gosh.
Like body parts, or like, have you ever delivered like organs for like
We have.
transplant?
Yep, we have. And those are super vital.
100%.
And then we do emergency kits. So, and they're super temperature controlled. So you can't, like, especially in the heat and stuff, they can't get over a certain temp. And so we've done different various steps to make sure that those meds stay the way that they need to stay. So there's just a lot of regulations when you're dealing with pharmaceuticals as well, and expensive. And then, we have contracts where we do computer parts. So Amazon's big over in the Boardman area, and if the server goes down, the cloud goes down, or anything like that, we have to get these emergency parts over there ASAP. So there's a lot of urgency, and we literally live by the minute. I mean, I'll have a plan to do something on Friday night, and that plan goes out the door if, we have some kind of emergency come up or something like that. So,
Because sometimes, are you driving all times?
not, I used to drive a lot more than I do now.
Yeah.
I don't have to drive as much. I do fly quite a bit, only from the aspect of the company that I'm an equity partner in and the COO of. I do make a lot of connections outside of the area to help grow that company and work with my sales team and stuff for that. So that is the aspect of what I travel. Rob likes to drive a lot more than I do. And then we have great team members. So knock on wood, if somebody's out sick or something happens, then it'll generally be Rob or myself. But I don't tend to like to be on the road as much.
So, and I've watched your social media, and you tend to go through quite a few vehicles. Is that right? Yeah, I mean,
we do.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, I mean, when you're running a 24/7, 365 operation,
Right.
a deer, just random things are going to happen.
Right.
Lose an engine in the big track. I mean, those are all part of business. And when you're on the road as much as we are, we're very fortunate to be as safe as we are. But yes, we have had some accidents that have happened, and we have gone through that. And insurance is not cheap.
I would, for that business, I can imagine not. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and and that, going back to the business thing, there's a lot of people that non-business owners have no idea that, if we did nothing, if nobody came in the office for an entire month and all we did was just pay the base, it is insurance and utilities and rent, and if we had no productivity whatsoever, probably be about $5,000 a month.
Easy.
Yeah. And so it's crazy just the obstacle that you have to get over just to make any profit, or to make any money to pay the expenses, the other expenses that you have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think we're constantly working it because you just never know. Like, even if we get a little comfortable, I'm like, nope, let's see what else we can go after. Let's see what else we can do, and that's where it's like the wrap company and graphic stuff, it's like that can sometimes supplement if we have a lower month on the delivery side or something. We have our normal everyday routes, so that's kind of the bread and butter. But there's times when sets of tires, you have to do tire changeovers for the season. That's super expensive on 28 vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got oil changes, you've got vacation time that you're paying for. So you're paying, an employee time and a half and an employee to be out on vacation. There's just a lot of varied expenses that come up. And so, we have multiple avenues because we don't want to throw all of our eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And we just feel it's super, super important to make sure we take really good care of our people and just make sure that we, and that's our employees and our customers, and that's, I think that gets you further than anything in life a lot of times as business owners, because you can be the best person at business and numbers, but a terrible boss. And it's important to be able to focus on being grateful for your team and doing little things for them. I can't stress that enough.
Good. All right. Well, let's come back to the ladies in business. When's your next event? And give a shout out to people that might be interested.
Absolutely. So it is December 12th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. We are doing the gift exchange. It will be at the Barrel Room, which is over in Island City, right next to the Island City Market and Deli. It's their little, the Vine Barrel Room in there. It'll be fully catered. So your ticket gets you a drink, whether that's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, your dinner, and then the networking opportunity. The tickets are $10 a piece. Again, the Seroptimists of LeGrand are the ones that have heavily supported us through a grant that we've received. And so we're able to pay the other half. So essentially we pay the facility $20 plus we give them a tip. And then the overage of that, from the difference between your $10 and the cost of it, is what the Seroptimist has paid for. And then bring a gift with you valued between $20 and $25. And the gift can come from your business. If you have a business, it absolutely can come from your business. We just ask that, hey, make it fun, make it something people are going to want to fight over. If you have ever been in gift exchanges, which I'm sure you both have, they are super fun. And so, like, in my brain, I always try to think of something that's really cool, different, and fun that everybody's going to want.
Yeah.
Where can you get tickets?
So we have it online. We've been promoting it primarily on social media, Facebook, Instagram, RSVP. We also do our mailing list. So anybody that's on our mailing list has already been on there. But right now it's really through social media. And that is, we have a Facebook group, Women in Business, LeGrand Main Street. Okay. We also have LeGrand Main Street's Facebook page, as well as our newsletter and that sort of thing through LeGrand Main Street. And we'll be promoting heavily with any of our businesses that we have as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great. Well, Kat, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to talk about it, and hopefully I didn't bore everybody too much.
Yeah. Oh, no, not at all. Yeah. Thanks so much. Well, hey, you want to get us out of here then?
On this day, November 12th, 1859, Jules Leotard performs the first flying trapeze circus act. He also designed the garment that bears his name. Same guy. Yeah, the leotard was designed by a guy that did flying trapeze. I never knew that. 1920, Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis is elected the first baseball commissioner by team owners. What a name, huh? Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's some Indian in there.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Is that PC to say Indian? If you are Indian?
Yeah.
Native American? Well, yeah, okay. 1933, first known photo of so-called Loch Ness Monster. It's taken by Hugh Gray. We were talking about that the other day. the Loch Ness of Wallowa Lake, if there is one. 1966, Buzz Aldrin takes the first space selfie. A photo of himself performing extravehicular activity in space during the Gemini program.
66.
There's the picture.
Wow. Yeah.
Right there. Buzz Aldrin. Yeah. 1990, the World Wide Web is first proposed by CERN computer scientists Tim Berners-Lee and Robert Callao. 2019, Disney launches its film and television streaming services, Disney Plus. 2021, an LA judge rules to end Britney Spears' conservatorship, which had controlled almost all aspects of her life for 14 years. Best thing that ever happened to that girl. It was great. It needed to happen. On this day, the #1 movie in America in 1984, The Terminator. And then the quote of the day comes from Dwight Howard. Today is a new day. Even if you were wrong yesterday, you can get it right today.
Yeah, that's
One
true.
more time. Today is a new day. Even if you were wrong yesterday, you can get it right today.
All right.
That's
Good
it.
stuff.
Yeah, don't forget, soccer tonight, 5 o'clock, Community Stadium. Go support these girls in their semifinal game against North Marion as they try to win a state championship. It's pretty exciting. They're pretty good. They're ranked #2 in the state.
All right. Hey, thank you, Kat, for being
Once
here.
again, thanks. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it. So we'll see you right here. George Mendoza will be with
Thursday.
us on Thursday. Yep. Thanks.